All right, we're cooking some chicken here, so I figured this is a good time just to be candid and talk about a couple things that I get a lot of questions about. Usually it's particular towards training, nutrition, building a program. Will you train me? Things like that. So we're going to start putting out some information, just so you guys can further your own knowledge base, so that you can start to develop your own concepts. Watch as many of my videos as you can. That'll give you an insight, because there is a million different diets out there. There's a million different ways to do everything out there, and somehow somebody has found each one to be able to work for them. That's all this is figuring out how things work for you, because we all live different lives. We all have different stressors in our lives. We all have different schedules. Those all play a role whenever you're trying to better yourself from a physical standpoint. And I'm going to tell you this right now, from a physical standpoint, you also have to have mental stability, because I know that after a long day of me running around or doing whatever I had for the day, between work, meetings, kids, cooking, trying to prepare everything, if I was not on my nutrition or I was not prepared, yeah, I'm going to come home and grab the first fucking thing I see. So prepared, mental stability, all these things play a huge role whenever we're trying to become better. So be prepared. But let's touch on a couple things. Let's touch on training. Let's go there. So I get a lot of questions. Like, I do a lot of volume-based workouts. I love it. That's the blood flow. Blood flow equals nutrient flow equals growth. So you hear me say that a lot. So you have to get blood to flow to the muscle in order for the muscle to grow, because the blood carries nutrients, gets it to the muscle group, fills it up, and we're going to push blood in there the whole time so things swell up and get nice and round, and you get bigger. There's a couple things that need to be added in there in parentheses. You need to train very hard. You can't just kind of go in and do pump workouts. You have to fucking exert yourself. You also, to get the growth, you're going to end up having to move some weight. You can't just be a complete pussy. I shouldn't say that. You can't just base everything on 35, 45-minute pump workouts if you want to make big gains. I do a lot of pump workouts because I'm not looking to gain any more weight. I want to maintain my size, maybe lose a couple pounds and look good naked. Pump workouts are wonderful for that. Be intense about it. I'm not just talking about doing a couple reps and being cool. You have to be intense about it. Okay? I love the intensity. So, you need to be able to move some weight. When I say that, you gotta drop your rep range down to that like 8 rep range, 6 to 8 rep range. Move up in weight and start and move some fucking weight. In order to build thickness, you got to move a little bit of weight. In order to build thickness, you got to eat a little bit more than your burden. In order to build thickness, you got to eat. You got to train really hard. You got to train big. You got to pretty much risk yourself of injury, because that's where the weight's going to move. That's how you're going to get bigger. That's how you're going to get thicker. But with that being said, a lot of people miss. What do people miss on? So you hear me, and you'll hear a lot of people talk about mind to muscle connection. Okay, so the mind to muscle connection is so vital, and this is strictly, I'm just talking about looking good. I'm talking from a bodybuilder's perspective. Okay, so from a bodybuilder's perspective, we have to make that mind to muscle connection so we can feel the contraction that's happening whenever we're doing a curl. We want to be able to feel and go, that's my bicep, it's activating. By doing so, if we do 12 reps at 12 to 15, more of a pump volume based workout, we are making the connection by once we make the contraction of the muscle, we make the mind to muscle connection, saying, wow, I feel it moving, I feel the blood rushing in there, and then the pump comes. Okay, that's great. We're moving the weight, we're making the contractions, we're feeling it, we're connecting with the muscle. Okay, that's great. Now, what happens is next everybody's like, well, I'm not getting any bigger. I want to get bigger. And then they're like, and now that you have this mind to muscle connection with your body, start dropping the repetitions, increase the weight, drop the reps, and then you're going to be able to make that mind to muscle connection with some heavier weight. Now here's where, this is where it gets a little tricky. Don't just drop the weight or drop the reps and increase the weight and move the weight. Don't do that. Don't just try and heave it up to get it up. No, we want to still make that connection, that mind to muscle connection with that heavier weight. That's why we talk about leaving your ego at the door and moving in. What happens is a lot of people will say, for example, this hypothetically, I'm getting a little jumbled here, but you hear people go into the gym and they're like, oh, I only do 6 to 8 reps, and they look like dog shit, and they want to call themselves a bodybuilder. They could be a power lifter. Fuck, dude, if you're a power lifter, this conversation is not for you. If you want to look good naked, this conversation's for you. So whenever you go in the gym, if you're not making that mind to muscle connection and you're trying to move that 4 to 6 to 8 reps, and you're just heaving that weight up and not making that connection, you're not really doing anything good for yourself. You're doing something, but you're not optimizing. So that's where I say, increase your rep range, drop the weight, and make that mind to muscle connection. It's going to take time. There's where that mental stability comes in, because you're probably going to sit there and say, go to the gym a couple times and be like, I fucking hate this. This isn't what I normally do. I don't like this. I want to do it. But ask yourself this question. Were you actually making gains doing the shit you were doing every fucking day? The answer is no. That's why you got to keep it fresh. That's why you got to keep it fun. That's why make that mind to muscle connection. Go into the gym, watch some of my training videos that I've done, and you'll see, make the contraction, get the connection. That's how that blood flow is going to occur to that muscle group, because we're going to make that connection. We're going to get the contraction. No matter what you're doing, you want to connect with that body part that you're working. Don't just move the fucking weight to move it. Y'all follow me with this? I hope I'm making sense for you. So do that, do those volume-based workouts and get good, clean repetitions. Okay? They don't have to be perfect. You still move a little weight, but if you're not making that connection, if you're not feeling that weight and feeling the muscle group activate, you're not doing the shit you need to do. And then over time, you'll progress and say, okay, now that I'm hitting, now that I'm able to feel these workouts and I'm actually looking better, my muscles are rounding off, I'm getting a different look, that's whenever you can say, I want to put on some weight, I'm going to drop my reps, increase my weight, and I'm going to work into getting that mind to muscle connection with that heavier weight. Okay, that goes for all exercises that you're going to do. Biceps, triceps, all your chest, shoulders, everything. If you're not making that connection, if you're not feeling that muscle group that you're trying to target work, it's not working. Okay, so that's why I have a lot of these how-to videos on YouTube. Watch the how-to videos, watch me train. You'll see, because you'll see those particular muscle groups that I'm working activating. Okay, so take a step back from your normal program. If you want to change how you look, you want to change your program, take a step back, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I want to focus on getting a bigger upper chest. Well, go do the exercises, incline barbell, incline dumbbell presses, incline Smith machine presses, incline flies. All those are increasing size of your upper chest. So when you go into the gym, don't just grab the weight and start doing them. Grab the weight and make the connection. You have to feel it work. Okay, if you don't feel it, it's not working. So, and then over time, you'll be able to build in to the to heavier weight, lower repetitions, and get into building, because you'll be able to get that mind to muscle connection with that heavier weight. Then you can start building that thickness. That's why it's very difficult for powerlifters to come into bodybuilding, and vice versa, from bodybuilders to go into powerlifting. That's why you see a lot of bodybuilders tear pecs and have a lot of injuries, because with a powerlifter, they're able to use their entire body to move the weight. With a bodybuilder, whenever I do a push-up, I'm not thinking about getting my shoulders and triceps involved in this exercise. I'm thinking about, when I'm doing a bench press, I'm thinking chest, grow that motherfucker. I'm connecting with it. Am I using triceps and shoulders? Sure I am, but focusing on chest. So if I was to go and get a certain weight, like, do 455, I'm risking injury. 405, I'm risking injury. Okay, because it's going to be all on chest. it's something that I just watch everybody do, and I've been a part of it for a long time, and that's, you know, whenever I go and work with anybody or help anybody, that's what I see. You have to be able to make that mind to muscle connection with that specific muscle group. It's pretty much it. You know, those are things, so make sure you watch some of my videos. Go watch all the how-to videos. You'll see me how I place my hands, body position, whether your chest is up, ass out, how you hold the dumbbells in your hands. All that will play a role in helping you build a physique. Because let's face it, with bodybuilding, like I said, this is bodybuilders and everybody wants to look good naked. You can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I want that to change. Leave your dick out of this conversation. So you'll be able to kind of be able to hone in and build your own sculpture. So it's fun. It's supposed to be fun, entertain, but educate yourself. Understand that nobody's going to do the work for you. There's no easy way out of this, and you're going to have to do the work in order to look a certain way. Because you see a ton of people, if everybody's like, well, I could take steroids and look better, you see a ton of guys on gear that look like dog shit. Okay? You don't need a bunch of gear. You don't need, you know, a whole bunch of anything. It's just your will, and then you also need to take into consideration a healthy diet. You know, all this that's what makes bodybuilding so much fucking fun, because it is very difficult. And that's why whenever you see someone that looks really fucking good, you're like, that person worked pretty fucking hard to look like that. It's appealing. It's interesting. So if that's what you want, you got to put the time in, put the effort in, spend the time, educate yourselves, and yeah. But that's it. I almost start cooking the titties now. Hope you learned something. Fucking A.